Hello everybody, it's me, Jordan again from Random Review Vlogs, here to talk to you about The Dark Knight Rises. As you can see, as you probably know already, a little while back I did a video on how mad I was about the bit they totally messed with Bane's storyline and everything. But putting all that aside, this is my review of the actual movie, and let me just say, this is anything that I say that's not so good, take with a grain of salt, because I think this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. It's my favorite movie ever. I love this movie. So, yeah, it's just amazing what they did with Bruce at the beginning and the ending in this movie. First off, it's amazing. But one of the best things about it is I was quite mad about Bane and stuff at the time because he's my favorite Batman villain. But putting up, they really didn't change that much, I think, because they actually did it very well, right down to the fight with Bruce and Bane, where Batman actually gets his back broken and he's super hurt and stuff. Yeah, that's almost completely the same as the comics, which is awesome. Like, it's choreographed the same, right down to the fatality. It's great. There's so many just similarities to some of the best Batman stories ever written, like Nightfall and The Dark Knight Returns. It's amazing, and even there's some Hush in there too. It's great. There's multiple things though that I think that they could have done a little bit better. Is Harvey Dent is brought up as like a kind of he's not really mentioned that much. He's mentioned, but he's not really that much, because there's a point in the movie where the truth is revealed about him. I'm not going to tell you when or who does it, but the truth is revealed about Harvey Dent eventually. So, that's probably why. And Rachel, the funny thing is, if you see the first two movies, Rachel is quite a mainstream character, right? Like, she's in it quite a bit, because she's like Batman's childhood friend, right? So, yet, in The Dark Knight Rises, she's like a memory that Bruce Wayne does not want to remember. It's kind of funny, because you would expect that, yes, but, like, she's never mentioned. Never. It's kind of interesting. So, yeah, and basically the plot of this movie is that it's 8 years after The Dark Knight ended, which, if you have already seen The Dark Knight, then, well, you know what happened at the end. But if you haven't already seen The Dark Knight or Batman Begins, you have to see the first two. You have to see the first two movies, Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, before you see this. It is imperative, because otherwise you will be so confused. And you have to have at least a decent knowledge of the comics. But I don't know. It's okay. So it's 8 years after Batman retires after the end of The Dark Knight, and he's basically like a myth now. He's like a old-time hero that Gotham's just kind of shrugged him off, which is similar to The Dark Knight Returns. So that's good. And then Bane comes along, and he just totally tears Gotham into pieces, and basically throws it into anarchy, essentially. Because he has this bomb that he's decided that he's going to detonate if anybody tries to get out or in of Gotham. And he's going to detonate it in like a week anyway, so it's basically a race against time for Batman to stop him. And it's great. Like, it's basically Gotham turns into one big hellhole. And it's crazy, because basically Bane in this movie is part of the League of Shadows. I screwed that up in my Batman Nerd Rage review. He's part of the League of Shadows, same League of Shadows that Ra's al Ghul leads. So, considering Ra's al Ghul is dead, Bane is carrying on his legacy, and is trying to destroy Gotham. So, and he does a pretty damn good job of it in The Dark Knight Rises. And it's amazing how they did all that. And yeah, there's a point in the movie actually where Bruce is actually being healed, and after he gets his back broken, Bane throws him into like this pit, and Bruce from there has to heal himself and get out of the pit to stop him. And that part is it's cool. It's really cool. And there's a couple of new characters in this movie. There's this new police officer guy, Officer Blake, and he's awesome. He's really awesome. He's Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, so you probably know him from Inception, and he's awesome in that movie. He's amazing. And Commissioner Gordon is the same. He isn't in it very much, though, because he gets injured early on in the movie. If you remember the teaser trailer where he's like in the hospital and saying how the Batman has to come back, well, that's actually most of the movie where Commissioner Gordon is injured and out of commission. Haha, commissioner. Haha. Anyway, yeah, it's almost everything about this movie is done perfectly. Catwoman, actually, I know that worried some of the fans, and to be perfectly honest, it worried me why she was in this movie at all. But Catwoman is really, really, really good. Anne Hathaway did an amazing job. Her fight scenes are awesome. Her costumes are awesome. Her lines are awesome. Like, and how she like has ulterior motives and about everything. It's great. They did her just perfectly. Christopher Nolan did a fantastic job. Pretty much with everybody in this movie, he did a great job with. So, yeah, Dark Knight Rises. You have to see the first two, but once you see the first two, and if you like them, you'll love The Dark Knight Rises. It's the best movie I've ever seen, considering I'm a huge Batman fan. I love it so much, I got this shirt. Awesome, eh? So yeah, that's my review of The Dark Knight Rises. I'm giving it a perfect 10 out of 10, and I will see you on my next review.